We've prepared a story!
He knew it was the end.
My dad told me he defeated Scar.
He's lying. Get it?
Hakuna Mufasa, what a wonderful name.
Man, these have to be the most annoying blokes in recent cinema history. If Awkwafina was here as that duck from The Little Mermaid, I could genuinely have a criminal case on my hands for Disney on premeditated. Sorry about that. Okay, so where do I even begin? Mufasa's The Lion King is a very interesting movie for so many reasons, and to see so many members of the audience and content creators alike dogpiling it to oblivion is honestly kind of surprising, because I guess I'm about to say a hot take, but I really enjoyed Mufasa, and it's kind of crazy to think that I'm in the minority opinion. Now, seeing how I am just some bloke that enjoys to yap about the entertainment that I watch, I am no square to being on the opposite side of the fence, either negatively or positively, when it comes to most of the mainstream entertainment that the majority of the casual audience digest. Just to give you a lay of the land so I can really solidify my mindset for you, I think the rewatchability of Deadpool and Wolverine is damn near non-existent, and in reality is a bottom tier MCU movie, let alone comic book movie, which definitely puts me on the opposite end of the spectrum of the Deadpool and the MCU fandom. Compared to, say, Agatha All Along, where I thought that was a genuinely good show with a vision and a story that they set out to tell, engaging character work with actual in-depth character writing, and incredible practical effects work that is refreshing to see in this genre overall. And while I don't feel like I am too far in the opposite direction of the Agatha and MCU fandom on that take compared to, say, the Deadpool and Wolverine take, that is more due to the fact that the MCU's fan apathy is at an all-time high, and I don't even think anybody watched that show, which is unlucky. But the point of that yapping soliloquy is that I am a channel of integrity, and when it comes to Disney's live-action Mufasa's The Lion King, or I guess I shouldn't really say live-action, but you get the point. This is definitely a situation where I'm not really quite sure what the audience is looking for, so how can I really expect Disney to know what we're looking for either? And while of course the obvious answer is that the audience is just looking for quality, memorable, and entertaining product, or you can even say that we, the audience, are just looking for more original projects out of Disney specifically, and for Disney to stop making these soul-crushing cash grab live-action remakes altogether. Trust me, I get it. But that is not our reality, and because Disney is not run by a bunch of blokes like Sony, therefore having some sort of functioning brain cells in the corporate office, that will never be our reality until we run out of source material. And that's where Mufasa's The Lion King truly comes in. From my point of view, Mufasa really checked all of the boxes of what I was looking for when it came to this prequel, from the noticeable upgrade in the animation department when it came to the animals themselves and their ability to showcase emotions or just emote in general, probably the worst and most uninspiring aspect of the 2019 remake of the OG. Engaging characters that don't make a mockery of what once was or character assassinate our past icons, somewhat catchy new musical numbers that blend in seamlessly with the OG musical score, and man, does that musical score still just hit like ice water at 3 a.m. Incredibly immersive animation with some of the best visual eye candy that I have seen in the game so far, which is still kind of selling it short because that third act fight scene was just, mwah, chef's kiss. And that's not to say that this movie was on like Avatar 2 levels or anything, but then again, who is? But more importantly, the most important box that Mufasa came to check was originality, a concept that has slowly but surely been dying over the last decade and a half of Hollywood, and a reason why I constantly yap that we, the audience, are currently in the most lack of creativity Hollywood era that we have ever faced. But that is not the case with Disney's Mufasa. This was a completely original story, a new original take on a beloved character that honestly, and this is just me personally, will never get tired of, building on a world and lore of the Lion King itself, while pulling an actual good villain out of their ass for some reason that fills the air with genuine tension and stakes, which could just be the Mads Mikkelsen effect. Crafting a narrative that felt like it was genuinely engaging with some solid pacing which made the runtime feel more digestible as the movie went along, and building on character arcs, early stage character development, character depth, and character relationships of characters that, again, like I said, I personally will never get tired of. And while the biggest obstacle with any prequel movie throughout the history of Hollywood is the fact that the movie will have to justify its very existence in the first place, I feel as if Mufasa's The Lion King really delivered on some of the most impactful elements and aspects when it comes to movie making and what the audience is mostly looking for when it comes to a prequel. And because of all of those reasons, it makes it that much more interesting that I am just not seeing the vision or not on the same page as the rest of the audience when it comes to this movie. And it's hard to not feel like this is a situation where we, the audience, want to bake our cake and eat it too. But hey, maybe I'm just a bloke in this scenario. It wouldn't be the first and definitely will not be the last time. But with that being said, that is enough yapping. Let's talk. This feels so good. Okay, so because Mufasa is a prequel to already established characters and lore, this is going to be quick, simple, and to the point. Mufasa is structured and told around the classic retelling of the hero's journey through the eyes of Rafiki as he narrates the early life of Mufasa and how he became known as the GOAT, or the Lion King. The story follows Mufasa as a young cub as he journeys with his family to the faraway land of Malele, or the Pride Lands as we know them as today. But after a terrible chain of events that led to a dam collapse, flooding the watering hole and separating Mufasa from his family, Mufasa floats across the open river with no hope in sight for a young stray. But with luck on his side, Mufasa is picked up by Taka, a young lion cub and prince of his pride, and is taken in by his mother, with Mufasa raised by the lionesses in order to not create a power struggle within the pride and Taka himself. You watch as the two grow closer and closer into their years of adolescence. But when a hunting mission goes wrong that leads to the death of another lion and a rival pride, showcasing Mufasa's leadership abilities and courage in an effort to save his surrogate mother, while at the same time highlighting Taka's cowardice and inability to take action in a setting that he shouldn't have been in the first place, the pride is now faced with a new challenge when a pack of beefed up, and I mean beefy ass white lions known as the Outsiders have a taste for revenge and conquest over the other prides. With Mufasa and Taka now on the run in search for a safe area from the Outsiders and to start a new pride, you watch our classic hero's journey play out as our two characters struggle to cope with their overwhelming situation, meet new friends along the way, make terrible choices that could really be solved with just an ounce of communication, and some of the actions that will lead the two characters down the path of the characters we know them to become. I feel like we, the audience, are in a very sticky situation when it comes to these Disney live-action remakes of their old golden era IPs. And don't get me wrong, while at this point I do think it's fair to say that over the last half decade or so, Disney has at least been able to somewhat deliver or capture some of that old magic, charm, charisma, whatever you want to call it, but more importantly in Disney's case, money. Rather, that was due to the early stages of audience nostalgia bait with entries such as The Jungle Book or Beauty and the Beast, singing the sweet song of a damning siren, luring us, the audience, into a future that we unfortunately and almost shamefully did not see coming, a future of forever member berries. Or rather, that was due to the restructuring of certain narratives, characters, or visions of the IP in its entirety with entries such as the Maleficent franchise and the Alice in Wonderland franchise. Both double features, by the way, and I'm standing on business that those movies are actually good, especially that first Alice in Wonderland movie, and if you do not think so, then that sucks because you just don't have the vision, I'm afraid. But in that same breath, I'm definitely down to stand on business and stay in the minority opinion of Mufasa's The Lion King actually being a pretty solid prequel, and we the audience are just never beating the allegations of having the standards of prequels just having to justify themselves just on the basis of simply existing. It's insane. While yes, it is universal that every person or every character has a backstory, everybody and everything comes from something. And while there are times where I would agree that sometimes a character's backstory is unnecessary, unwarranted, and in the worst case scenario, shit on a screen, but when it comes to Disney's live-action prequel of Mufasa, I didn't feel that vibe as an audience member, and maybe that's just because my nostalgia cup for this specific IP, these characters, this music, and this world is so deep that I'm just seeing through the eyes of visual eye candy and nostalgia bait, but I don't think that that was the case. I don't know, but I genuinely feel as if it wasn't for the self-inflicted brand damage that Disney has put themselves under over the last half-decade and the epic conclusion to the first Sonic trilogy, I think a different tune will be sung surrounding this pretty fun and original prequel. But who's to say? So in our 2024 Hollywood filler arc, Disney's prequel of Mufasa's The Lion King was an actual movie, and a movie that might end up becoming a guilty pleasure for me personally down the line of all of these Disney live-action remakes that they've been trying to shove down our throat. No one wants Snow White. Where is Alice in Wonderland 3? Of course, as always, I want to thank you for watching the video, and if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'll leave a link to my Twitter and Letterboxd in the description, just in case you want to go check that out. Again, I want to thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you did enjoy, why not click on more while you're at it? Otherwise, that is all the words I got for you today. Bye.